Morning Grow Givers. Look, what I want to talk about today is the importance of a Project 100. And, to be transparent with you, this is a topic that I did not expect to have to give a talk on, but I was forced to do it. I've been in the middle of rebuilding a new sales organization, or a new sales team to be more specific. I've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs who are making the transition from team of me to a team of we. And this has been a sore spot. And, to be transparent, I went online. I looked for content about how to do a Project 100 because I just assumed it'd be like an avalanche of it, right? It'd be just so much content. And I'd sent so many other entrepreneurs to also scan online, YouTube. And what they came back with and what I found was really, it was peaceable. And a lot of it wasn't good. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and buckle down and do this. This is necessary. So here we go. This has been egging me. So if you can't tell, literally, I woke up first thing in the morning. I don't think I still got the morning eye thing going on. I can't even open up all the way. But anyway, look, this is what a Project 100 is. And I'm also going to talk about also why it's important. I'm going to do a deep dive on the why. The what is not as important as the why. I'm telling you right now. But look, what a Project 100 is basically you writing down 100 names and numbers. And when I think about a Project 100, I think about it in two phases. The first Project 100 is the phase of the people that you know, your warm market, people that you have a relationship with, people that you've met them at a gas station, or you've met them at a restaurant, their family, their friends, you went to school with them. Look, I don't care if they like you or dislike you. If they know you, if you have had any type of interaction with them, if there is a slight likelihood, a slight chance that you would pick up the phone and call them, they would remember you, either as the person they loved or the person that they hated. Maybe they talked about you, your mama, your children, and your entire progeny. Doesn't matter. It's 100 names and numbers of people that you know. And you start warm market. I encourage everyone to start warm market. And I'm going to get into why that's important here in a moment. And then there's a second phase to your Project 100. Ideally, you can actually start with this list if you have mentorship, if you have support, individuals that you trust and that have a vested interest in your success. There's a second phase, and it's writing down who your ideal clients are, right? But before you can even define who your ideal clients are, especially if you're just starting out in business, okay? If you are still maybe even in a beta testing stage of your business, you want to start with your warm market, and this process is also going to help you define your target market or your ideal client as well. So I'm going to jump into it. Number one of the primary reasons why you want to do this, why is this important to literally write down 100 names and numbers? I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I have the names and numbers in my phone. I got the names and number in my contact manager, in my email list. Look, it's just not practical to think that you're going to remember everybody off the top of your head. Once you start making phone calls, interacting, engaging with individuals, once you start having conversations, you're just not going to remember everyone that you need to contact when you're first starting out, okay? You need to write this name and the list of names and numbers down. Also, what it does is it's a trigger. If I write down the name of someone that I've met at church, I'm probably going to start remembering other people from church that I probably wouldn't have recalled otherwise. If I start writing down names and numbers from people whom I attended high school or college with, I'm going to remember other people that I may have flown underneath the radar. If I write down a list of names and numbers of individuals whom I've worked with in a certain capacity, I'm going to start to remember names and numbers of other people or contacts of other people that, once again, I perhaps worked with or had some experience with, or even a vendor or something like that, that may have flown underneath the radar. That's the other reason why it's important. You also want to take subjectivity out of this, okay? A lot of success in entrepreneurship is predicated upon the ability to discipline your disappointments and discipline your emotions. You do not want to discriminate in this process, okay? You want to write down any and everybody, okay? And then we're going to talk about why this is important. Now, I had to do a little bit more deep dive on what it is, right? Number one, it builds confidence and competence. Typically, when entrepreneurs first start out, whether you're beta testing, whether you've joined some other sales organization, whether you've joined a direct sales organization, whatever the case may be, you're at your highest level of excitement and enthusiasm and lowest level of competence. And it will not be long before you are brought down to earth. Okay. Creating a list gives you a track to run on. It gives you a destination. It gives you a process. So when you're not feeling like it, you still do it anyway because you have this project that you need to complete. Okay. It's very important because you have to build competence and confidence. This is not Hollywood. In life, you do not get in life what you want. You do not get in life simply what you desire. You get in life what you are and what you have practiced. You're building a business. You're building a practice, right? If you talk to any really, really, really good doctor, any really, really good attorney, or any sometimes even really good investment advisors and real estate agents, they view their businesses as practices. It's not just a process where they get the quote unquote paycheck and then they're done learning. No, it's a practice. You're practicing right now. Entrepreneurship is a skilled trade. So I know I'm dropping a little bit extra in here, but I got to get your mind right because the Project 100 is also about mindset and understanding why you're doing it, right? So anyway, it gives you greater confidence and competence, right? It hones your pitch. It hones your story. You begin to learn the objections and people and how they're going to respond to them. And it better you practice on your warm market than with your ideal clients and cold market. Look, these people know you already. It's not going to, I mean, one way or the other, what you're doing is not necessarily going to change their opinion and perspective of you. And if it does, okay, whatever. You're not doing this business for other people's opinions anyway. You're doing this for your family, for yourself, and for your progeny, destination, and future, right? But in any respect, you're sharing your pitch. You're leaning in and you're sharing your story and you're getting practice at this. Okay, this is what this is all about. It's about you learning the skills and the mindsets and understandings that will carry your business 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years from now, right? Or businesses that you're going to end up launching with other individuals. And I'm going to come back to that, why this is so important when it comes to growing from a team of me to a team of we. But once again, you're learning the stories. You're learning to listen to the objections. The things that people say, 90% of the time, it's not going to make any sense. But you learn to hear them. And after you had a series of phone calls working through your Project 100, you begin to, review, right, and refine. You begin to evaluate, how could have I responded to that better? Is there really something I could have said to overcome those objections? And once again, ideally, you're receiving tutelage, you're receiving assistance. But if you're not, you have to sit down and kind of really take time to evaluate, rinse, and repeat. So this is important because, look, the objections don't change. They don't change from warm market to cold. I promise you, they don't. The objections pretty much remain the same. They remain consistent. And so this is important, right? Getting this practice in. It also helps you develop alligator skin, right? Because some people are going to be rude. They're going to be obnoxious. I cannot tell you how many times, even to this day, and I'm pretty effective in person, over the phone, via Zoom, on the stage. It doesn't matter. I crush. And I still, every now and again, get hung up on as practiced as I am at Project 100s, right? And hopefully that's a clue. You don't ever stop doing Project 100s, but that's another talk for another time. But just getting started out helps you get the alligator skin. People are going to say rude, obnoxious things. I've had people hang up on me and literally, hey, this is JuJuan Buford. Click, click, boom. Hey, this is JuJuan. Click, click. You get accustomed to that and it doesn't bother you anymore, right? I eat objections and I eat rude comments and hangups and all, or people responding rudely via social media like Skittles now. I eat them like Skittles. I get excited about them. I'll tell you why in a moment. But in any respect, so it helps you develop this alligator skin. You're going to need it. Okay, not everyone's going to say yes to your deal. Not everyone's going to say yes to your product or service, especially when you're just starting out. You need to develop that alligator skin. Okay. Look, these gurus that are online talking about how they have 100% closing ratio, that's BS.com. Okay, that's BS.com. Also understand this. It also helps you understanding to put in perspective that, look, amateurs sell professional sort. So these objections and also the combination of alligator skin helps you begin to discern the two. You're going to need to learn how to discern the difference, right? And learn how to sort as opposed to sell. If someone has a really high closing ratio, it's not because their word game is so smooth and they're so intelligent, blah, 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 manipulative. Okay, some people out here are a little bit psychotic or they might be sociopathic and can, they'll do things and say things they shouldn't say to quote unquote get the deal. But at the end of the day, what you want to learn how to do is set up a situation in your initial pitch and questions that you ask people where you're actually sorting them out. So you're not wasting your time with people who aren't ideal clients. But we're going to get to that in a moment. God, there's a lot I want to cover in here. Project 100 is so important. But any respect, helps you develop the alligator skin. The other thing that helps you develop is your ratio. Look, your predictability is found in your ratios, in your numbers. A ratio that I used starting out was 130, 10, 1. 100 dials. Out of 100 dials, 70 of them aren't picking up the phone. 70 of the individuals may not be available. Out of those first 70 individuals, the decision maker, the person who really is capable of making a decision, might not be at the table or may not answer the phone. Numbers are disconnected. Man, it's the same thing in social media. Trust me, these numbers bear out either way. Okay, when you're reaching out to people, if you reach out to 100 people, it's just 70 of them just aren't going to be available for whatever reason, at least the people whom you need and want to talk to. So now that leaves you with 30. Okay, and then you have literally, you literally have, 5 to 10 seconds really. And then if you've gotten past that initial connection someone might have when you're calling them up, maybe you have 30 seconds to make an impression. Okay. And that's, once again, that skill trait. Even the best of us flub and mess up. Sometimes, they say the right information can't fall on the wrong person, or the wrong information, the wrong person can't receive the right information. Look, some of that's true, but the bottom line is sometimes it just is what it is. You're dealing with people and not everyone can mirror match and get along with each other, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So, out of 30 people that you end up talking to who are willing to listen to what you have to say, you get past that first 5-10 seconds, what ends up happening is you may schedule 10 appointments, or 10 people may agree to learn or take a look at whatever information you want to share with them about your business. Notice what I just said. 90% of the time, you're not closing no one over the phone, especially when you're just getting started. I'm just being real with you. You're not. Okay? You're not closing your ideal client the majority of the time over the phone. The purpose of this exercise of Project 100 is to set appointments or to get permission from people to send them information. That way you're not selling, you're sorting. See, with this approach that I'm talking about, you don't have to worry about buyer's remorse. You don't have to worry about people, quite frankly, hanging up on you and feeling ill about you because you're not selling people. That's not the bag. If your product is good, if your service is good, if you really have a valid value prop, people are going to acquire your product or service. Okay, you just need to understand that. This is about sorting. It's about sorting. Okay, so and you learn these things through a Project 100. That's why these things are so absolutely important. It's not academic anymore. It becomes real life and you experience it and it gets in your DNA. You learn these skills. So, okay, bottom line is, once again, you find, once again, your predictability in your ratios, 100. So out of 30 people, 10 of them end up setting an appointment. They say, you know what? Send information. You've gotten their permission. They've said, hey, I'll be willing to meet with you via Zoom, or sometimes belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, right? And we talk about pitch a little bit later because I have multiple pitches, not going to go into it now. It'll tack another 30 minutes on this. We're not going to do that today. But you know what I'm going to do? I am going to add a pitch. I'm going to add one of the most effective pitches I've ever conducted and one of the most effective pitches that I have ever taught. This pitch allowed me to go from 0 referrals in a 3-month period of time to over 3,000. So be checking for it. I got to remember to put it in the notes. Okay. So your ratios are found there. Out of 30, you get 10 appointments. Out of 10 appointments, you may have a situation, because keep in mind, when you set the 10 appointments, whether it be via Zoom, whether it be meeting someone at a coffee shop, whether it be a phone, whatever the case may be, okay, however you're going to give your presentation, deliver the information in a more comprehensive way where the person can make an educated decision. What's going to end up happening is, 3 out of 10 are going to say yes, okay, if you have a valid value prop, okay? Typically, that's the ratio. And of course, I'm falling back on my experience, right? Being an investment advisor, financial services, banking industry, B2B products and services. We're talking about price points as low as $12, as high as leaning in and saying, hey, I want to invest $1 million of your money. Okay. So with that being said, the ratio typically is going to be 3 out of 10 if you have a good value prop, right? That's generally how it works. And then out of the three that actually, quote unquote, make a buying decision, one becomes a client. And this is how I discern the difference between someone who makes a buying decision versus a client. A client acquires a service or product. Not only are they amenable, do they see value in what it is you're doing, but that person is inclined to patronize you repeatedly over and over again and tell more people about you. That's really the bag. We're going to come back to that. But people are all the times afraid when they're first starting out in business. Well, how do I create predictability? How do I know this is going to work in terms of regular income? It's found in these ratios. But if you've never done a Project 100, you don't even know what your ratios are. You don't know how many people you need to contact. You don't know how many people you need to touch in order to get a yes, to create the predictability. See, I know if my ratio is 10, 30, 10, and 1, right? And that ratio may change a little bit based on you getting better at your pitch, based on your growth and competency as a professional in your skilled trade, better understanding who your ideal client is. These ratios may change a little bit, but trust me, not much. Nobody bats 100, okay? So in any respect, that's where your predictability found. If I know my average compensation, let's say, is $500, hypothetically, per yes, right? Well, I know if I do $100 a day, I'm going to get that one client. Trust me, the ratios work out. You're going to end up with a client, okay? So I do $100 a day, I'm going to end up with 5 clients a week, right? If I'm doing 5 days a week. That's how it works. That's where your predictability is found. But you don't even know your ratio until you do. This is why this is so fundamental that everyone do a Project 100. Okay, when you're first starting out as an entrepreneur, before you grow from that team of me to a team of we, you need to do this Project 100. Okay, because that's where the predictability, once again, I keep going there because that's the biggest fear and anxiety, at least that I encounter from new entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who have begun selling their products and services, but their business is up and down. And 9 times out of 10, after I kind of skim through a lot of other things, I find out they really don't know what their ratio is. They really don't know what their process is. And that's why this is so important. Look, this is an attitude I want to plant with you as I start to kind of sort of wrap up here, that I think helps out a lot of individuals. When you're doing a Project 100, when you're taking your value prop to the marketplace, think about like turn over a deck of cards, 52 cards in a deck, right? 52 cards in a deck. And there are 4 aces in there. And it doesn't matter how many cards you turn over, there are 4 aces in there. So if you go through 48 cards without getting an ace, or in this case, a yes, I want to learn about your